हैं। अच्छा, याद रखिएगा 15,700 के लेवल को तोड़ दिया है निफ्टी ने, वो मैं आपको बता दूं 15,696। तो डे लो पर ही इस समय की तरफ तेजी से फिसलता हुआ मार्केट, और निफ्टी बैंक अब 600 पॉइंट के नुकसान पर खड़ा है। तो मूड माहौल बिगड़ता हुआ इस समय। इस बीच फोकस करते हैं महिला दिवस पर, और देश दुनिया की सभी महिलाएं आज वर्ल्ड इंटरनेशनल वुमेन्स डे को सेलिब्रेट करती हैं। मेरे साथ आज जुड़ रही है एक बिजनेस लीडर, पवित्रा शंकर, ब्रिगेड एंटरप्राइजेस। हम सब जानते हैं वो रियल्टी कंपनी, कार्यभार अब इन्हीं के हाथ में है। पवित्रा, गुड आफ्टरनून, प्लेजर स्पीकिंग टू यू and congratulations on this World International Women's Day. Earlier in the day, I was speaking to Vinita Saraf and we were discussing as to how the participation of women in the manufacturing sector has increased in the last few years. How does it stand for the real estate play?
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for having me, and happy Women's Day to you too. In the real estate sector, we have about 25% participation of women in the overall organization. Obviously, it is a little less in some departments. We would love to see more women in the construction side of things, but you know, that is where it is slightly less. But in some departments, we may be having many more women compared to men, say in our legal or design teams, in finance, etc. We tend to have greater participation in HR. So it really kind of depends. But overall in our organization, we have around 25%. And I think that may be just a little above the average in terms of the construction sector.
But on an average, talking about the whole construction sector, do you see more and more women like you would be playing a crucial role in boardrooms as well? Because that's been that's not really been a trend that we witnessed.
Yes, I think Brigade is different in that way. We have had an independent woman, female director on our board even before it was sort of mandated by SEBI and so on. And both my sister and I sit on the board as executive directors. You know, quite honestly, I think we would have been on the board whether we were male or female. So I would like to say that it's great as role models, but I would also love to see more professional women join higher levels of management. This is something which is a struggle for most organizations. While we have women coming into the workforce, you know, at the junior levels, because of the challenges that they face at home, trying to balance so many different things in order to also, you know, have a career at the same time, it throws up a lot of challenges. And that's where I think we need to see a lot more support from our male counterparts to help us, you know, achieve more in the workplace as well, and therefore also get to climb that corporate ladder. And unless that happens, I think it would be very difficult to see greater participation of women in senior management and then also eventually leading to boards.
Well, let's all take a vow to ensure that happens in the coming future. You know, we've always heard that women are our future, but I would say women are our present. And you and me, all of us having these conversations, perhaps not only on Women's Day, and on a daily basis, could perhaps make a big change. I'll come down to your business per se. We were reading this report that says that residential demand is very, very strong at this point in time. Of course, it was fueled by COVID and the desire to move into larger homes. Could you give us an update as to how are things in the markets Brigade Enterprises operates at this point in time? Are realizations beginning to improve far more than they had earlier?
Yes, actually, the real estate sector has, and specifically the residential part of real estate, has actually been doing quite well despite COVID. And for the reasons that you mentioned, people are spending a lot more time in their homes. They realize the importance and the quality of their living space. So many have taken the decision to go ahead and buy, whereas for the previous few years prior to the pandemic, it was sort of not a great environment for many, but this has been supported by, of course, the lower interest rate regime as well. So that has definitely supported the overall sector. There's been consolidation in the real estate sector as well, especially in residential. So that means certain companies have been able to grow their presence in their markets. Brigade is no exception. We operate in Bangalore, Chennai, and Hyderabad predominantly. And in all of these, we have, across our portfolio, we've seen an increase in the realization. It's again a mix of what product is actually selling. Completed product tends to have higher pricing than, say, under construction or freshly launched inventory. Also, depending on the product type and the location of it, the realization could be higher, which is what we've seen in our portfolio. And we think that will continue to be the case. The cost pressures on the real estate sector today are quite high. I heard that you were talking earlier about energy prices and so on. All of this will have a compounding effect, and therefore I think there will be a cost push increase on the pricing side also.
So could you elaborate a little more on that, because metals are skyrocketing. कितना आप पास ऑन करेंगे इस समय? क्या रियलाइजेशन है, कितना आपको पास ऑन करना पड़ेगा?
So, I mean, how much we pass on really depends on the market's ability to absorb it and the consumer's willingness to pay for any kind of increase. But there is today an increase of maybe 10% in the construction cost. It will be difficult to pass on entirely that amount. But I think if the product is right, if the if the product and the customer find a meeting of minds, then I think price is an easier thing to arrive at. So in the end, it kind of depends on how well that product is located. How much trust does the customer have in that specific developer that they will deliver with quality and on time. And I'm happy to say that for us, that is something that we can generally count on, that our customers do come to us in order for a very predictable kind of delivery time frame and quality. So in many cases, we're able to pass on the pricing. But definitely there are some where it is a little difficult because of the market conditions.
So in the current situation with the realities of metal and other raw material costs increasing, would you be able to give us an outlook as to how your pipeline could be, or how does it stand in the fourth quarter? You had nearly bookings of 2,000 crores in the last 9 months. What's happened in the last quarter?
So in the last quarter, since we're based in Bangalore and a lot of our business is, coming out of Karnataka, in January, we had a lot of lockdowns here, and especially there were weekend travel restrictions and so on. So that certainly impacted, the business, not just for us, but across the board. We feel that the demand is definitely coming back, and as restrictions have been lifted almost completely other than masking, we are seeing that people are still interested in making their purchases. So while I may not be able to give guidance for the fourth quarter, I think it will finish out strong. We are aiming to beat our last year's numbers, but how it will turn out in the end, it remains to be seen. Our teams are putting in their best efforts.
Pavitra Shankar, thank you very much for taking time out and speaking to us on this day, and all the very best for the coming days.
Thank you so much.
चलिए, इसी मोड पर वक्त हो रहा है एक छोटे से ब्रेक का, लेकिन ब्रेक के बाद आज का या फिर इनफैक्ट इस साल का सबसे बड़ा सवाल, क्या पेट्रोल और डीजल की कीमतें बढ़ती दिखाई देंगी? क्योंकि अब चुनाव खत्म हो चुके हैं। इस पर लक्ष्मण रॉय से होगी बातचीत आगे।